Rivian was already in late stage talks with General Motors to secure an investment in the company. But Ford acted quickly in a last-ditch effort to upstage GM and take a percentage of the company. And that has paid off incredibly well for Ford. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. Fantastic to have you here today. Thank you to all the new subscribers for coming on board, and welcome to the channel. Make sure you check out some of our 570 videos that we have created over the last 6.5 months since we began this channel. Now, a lot of that information you won't find anywhere else on YouTube, and a lot of it will help you to make some informed investment decisions that are based on sound logic, not on hype or exuberance or excitement. Just want to say a big thank you to those of you who have jumped on our Patreon account to support the channel. It makes a huge difference getting new Patreons every day. Awesome to see you coming on board. Really does mean a lot. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to jump on and support the channel. Even a really small amount every month still helps us to make more videos, therefore actually increasing the reach, meaning more people learn about electric cars, about how they make sense, about how clean energy makes sense, about how we can actually make the world better. Honestly, it's true. So, also, remember, you can become a member of the channel. If you want to become a member, you get access to some of our videos either 1 or 2 days in advance before they go live on the channel. To do that, click on the membership button, and then you can go through and decide which level of membership you would like. So before I talk about exactly what Ford did to upstage General Motors and how they did it, I did make a video on Rivian's current valuation. They're currently valued as the third most valuable automaker in the world. And some people legitimately think this is a fair valuation. They do. It's amazing, but they do. I think those people are not aware of the fact that there are actually other electric car companies in the world that are making a lot of EVs right now. And they only make EVs. And they do have competitive advantages. Rivian, on the other hand, not so much. But I do evaluate Rivian's current stock price, if it's a good investment, and exactly what is going on there in a video I made yesterday. I'll put a link in the description to that video. You want to check that out if you haven't already seen it. Now, as Stephen Loveday from Inside EVs reports, as some will be quick to say, you snooze, you lose. Though that's not exactly how this story played out. Arguably, one of the biggest reasons Rivian was able to rise up from an aging electric vehicle startup with very, very little to show, most people don't realize they've been around for over a decade now, to the first automaker to deliver an electric pickup truck in America was due to huge investments from the likes of Ford and Amazon. And I think people are ignoring the fact that when you have Ford and Amazon behind you, or particularly Amazon behind you, you can get loans at pretty low rates. Now, one of the disadvantages that Ford has right now, and I talk about this in an investment evaluation of Ford, the company, one of my videos, I'll put a link in the description below to that video, is Ford's current debt is rated one level above junk. So their interest rates are quite a bit higher than companies like, say, for example, BYD, who has AAA graded debt, and Tesla, same thing. Now, that said, General Motors was also interested in a piece of Amazon. And according to an article in the Wall Street Journal, General Motors could have beat Ford to the punch. But they didn't. In fact, Rivian was already in the final stages of conversations with General Motors about an investment, but Ford executive Joe Hinrichs stepped in and changed history. Ford currently holds about a 12% stake in Rivian, and that stake is now worth more than $12 billion. So their investment is now worth more than 20 times what it was when they invested only a couple of years ago. However, the Blue Oval almost lost the opportunity to invest in Rivian. In 2018, Ford's president of global operations at the time, Joe Hinrichs, had a meeting with Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe, who wanted to bring in investments from a major automaker and from a technology company. Ford, which was beginning to make future plans for its transition to electrification, took interest in Rivian thanks to its skateboard platform. However, Ford was in a tough position at the time due to missing earnings targets. Heinrichs essentially told Scaringe that Ford would consider some type of investment or partnership in the future. In the meantime, GM had already taken an interest in Rivian too. In fact, not long after Scaringe met with Heinrichs, he spoke with General Motors CEO Mary Barra, as well as General Motors President Mark Roos. This all happened around the time Amazon first invested in Rivian, which also reignited Ford's attraction to the electric truck startup. Executive Chairman Bill Ford Jr. ended up meeting Scaringe as well, and Heinrichs set up another meeting with the Rivian CEO. In the second meeting with Heinrichs, Scaringe made it very clear that General Motors was considering a deal and that talks had escalated. According to the Wall Street Journal, Heinrichs jokes, "Just because you got engaged to someone doesn't mean you need to marry them." While Scaringe was set to secure a deal with General Motors, others on the Rivian team believed Ford's terms were more flexible, and it may make things easier if the investment and/or partnership was with the Blue Oval rather than with General Motors. By April of 2019, Heinrichs and Scaringe reached an official deal. Ford invested $1.2 billion in Rivian, and it has already watched its investment grow exponentially. GM went on to invest in Nikola. We all know how that turned out. In fact, General Motors were mocked widely by YouTubers everywhere, by general pundits, by people who actually had an understanding of what exactly was going on at Nikola, which was basically an enormous farce. And this was exposed by a number of different people, including one of my favorite channels, Solving the Money Problem. Now, of course, Nikola is in court, faced with committing a series of crimes and looking at paying enormous fines to the SEC. Their CEO is in disgrace, was fired from the company, and is also in some pretty hot water himself. Now, the fact that General Motors actually could have had the opportunity to invest in Rivian and chose Nikola, well, what does that say about their leadership? The fact that Ford could have invested in Nikola, but chose Rivian, what does that say about theirs? Well, maybe it says that General Motors never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Now, some people claim that GM's talks with Rivian were actually stalled because General Motors wanted more control of Rivian with a bigger investment, and Rivian didn't want that. Now, apparently GM also wanted an exclusive deal, which would prevent Rivian selling its electric platform to other automakers such as Ford, and Rivian didn't want that either. Now, Ford has actually made more on their investment in Rivian than they made in net income for 2017 and 2018 and 2019 and 2020. So they made more in this deal than they made in 4 years of global operations. So what did General Motors lose here other than money and other than having an important strategic partner in the electric vehicle and electric pickup industry? Well, they lost time. They lost credibility. They lost opportunity. And to be honest, they now look a little bit silly. Now, what's your take on this? Do you think GM made a good decision by not investing in Rivian? Or do you think they made a bad decision? Or do you think simply Ford was just one step ahead? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching and supporting the movement. I appreciate it. And I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.